I'm now joined by Royston Wee. Royston is coming off a successful UFC debut. We're about a month out now, where he was the first athlete from Singapore to compete in the UFC, and not only compete but win. Royston, congratulations on winning your UFC debut.
Hi, thank you.
And thanks for agreeing to come on and have a chat with me.
You're welcome.
Now it was we could see from the whole event, and obviously from you, it was a very emotional day for you. What was it like to be the first athlete from Singapore to actually compete in the UFC, and not just compete but also win?
I'm really happy and excited coming to the UFC, and it's really a dream come true. Pulling out a win in my debut is gives me an extra boost of confidence.
Now, one of the things that was stated during the fight as well, and if you look at your resume, you hadn't fought for a few years. What was the reason? There'd been nearly a 3 year layoff. What was the reason for that?
I was injured in between, and then I had to continue my studies and get my degree. So that period of time, I was too busy to go full time into competing. And right after I finished my studies, and there's a lot of opportunities start coming, like the Ultimate Fighter China, before that was Rebel FC, and then eventually, the UFC wanted me to fight.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this then. What you've just said there. How did the opportunity then come about for you to actually fight on the Singapore card?
Um, I was actually I went for the tryouts for the Ultimate Fighter China in Singapore, and I passed the first stage, and went for the interviews. And then a few months later, I got a call, and I was told bad news and good news. Bad news is I didn't get into the main. I wasn't chosen as the main guys for the house, and but the good news is I was chosen as an alternative. So I was scheduled to fly to China for. I was there for about 3 weeks, and I got more exposure with the people in the UFC, and eventually they get to know about me more, and wanted me to fight in the UFC Singapore.
And also, it's fair to say as well, of course, this was a big step up in competition. I mean, your two previous bouts had lasted less than 2 minutes each, where this was a really tough fight for your debut. So, what was it like? What was your views on Dave Galero as an opponent?
Dave, he's been active throughout his 5 fights. He's a tough guy, really a great athlete. But coming into this fight, I was really well prepared. I get the best coaches I can find. I bring in the best training partners I can find, and also got myself a sports psychologist to help me out mentally. So I would say, even though my first two fights ended pretty quickly, but my third fight, because I feel that I'm well prepared, I actually felt better than my first two fights.
And what was it like as well after the fight? They've called out the decision. You've won the fight. You're standing there doing the interview. What was that like? Because it seemed to overwhelm you. Because it was such a big moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I come into this fight with a lot of pressure actually. For a new guy coming to UFC, I think I'm getting a little bit too much of attention from the media, and it's a bit overwhelming at first, and then I had to deal with the pressure and everything. So um, w- the first two rounds of the fight, I knew I won, and after the fight ended, before they announced me the winner, I was going to be the winner, and everything, it was just a relief, and then yeah.
Now, obviously, after the fight, it was a 3 round fight. How did you feel? Was there any knocks, injuries, and when would you like to get in and compete again?
Um, I hopefully, probably mid this year, or around third quarter this year, yeah.
And is there any injuries, or were you feeling okay after the fight?
I had a little bit of injury, because I think it's because of the illegal upkick from the third round. I was fine at that point of time, but for the next week or so, I had a little bit of mild concussion, and other than that, yeah, I'm
Oh,
fine, pretty fine
good.
now.
So where would you like to fight then? Or because obviously the first fight was Singapore, and of course UFC are branching out now. They're probably going to be doing a lot more Asian cards. So would you like to fight on one of the Asian cards, or would you like to come over and fight somewhere else in the world?
I'll fight anywhere the UFC wants me to fight, but for now, I'm sure they want to fill me up for the Asia cuts. So I guess for now, this period of time, I'll appear more on the Asia cuts than the rest of the world.
And have you got your eye on a potential opponent, or are you just waiting to see what's on offer?
I'm just a new guy. It's just my first fight. I don't think I have the right to call out or say who I want to fight. So, whoever the UFC wants me to fight, then I'll fight.
That's fair enough. Well, congratulations on an impressive UFC debut.
Thank
And
you.
obviously, thank you for giving me your time. But before we let you go, I just want to give you a chance to do any shout outs. Want to shout out any friends, family, sponsors, and also let the listeners know about your Facebook and Twitter.
Okay. I wanna thank my coaches. My head coach Bruce, my BJJ coach Alexandro Machado, my wrestling coach Sulaiman, my striking trainer Sean, and my strength and conditioning coach Rafael. I would also like to thank all my training partners, especially Adrian from Sabah. I especially invited him, and he took the time off to come down to train with me for 3 weeks. And I would also like to thank all the supporters out there who support me, and really cheer out there for me at that night. Also, shout out to my sponsors, Venom, Fairtex, Team Razor, and many others. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you fight again in the octagon in the near future.
Thank you very much.